Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has described the word reconciliation used in media reports of Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi's visit to his house in Abeokuta, Ogun State at the weekend as non-applicable. He said the word was never raised, adding that it is insertion that in the report was most inappropriate and a diversionary invocation. Soyinka noted that there was no issue to reconcile between him and Obi, but refuted any acknowledgement of or relationship with the Obedient or Obedient family as Obi supporters are known. The Obedient verbally attacked the Nobel laureate for describing the Labour Party flag bearer's running mate Dati Baba Ahmed's comments on China's television TV as fascist. Obi, in a post on his official Twitter handle on Sunday, poured encomiums on Soyinka. He described the visit as enriching, adding that he had a useful discussion with the literary giants. He said, "I visited one of the most revered figures and an international literary icon, Professor Wole Soyinka. Professor Wole Soyinka has been my father, whom I hold in very high esteem for what he has achieved and stands for in the struggle for a better Nigeria. His reputation as a fighter for justice and equity in our society has been legendary, and we will never ignore them. I had a very useful and enriching discussion about his aspirations for a better and greater Nigeria, and he shared a lot with me about his dream for a greater and more inclusive Nigeria. I reminded the Nobel laureates of the huge price he paid just before the outbreak of the Civil War, fighting for the cause of the Igbo. I cherish this Sunday visit, which was intended to erase the needless misconceptions about the relationships between the great icon and the Obedient family." Soyinka reacted to media reports which followed the visit in a statement titled "A Visitation and the Allure of Reconciliation." He said he knew Obi and could relate to the party, adding that there were no issues to reconcile between them. "However, I do not know and am unable to relate to something known as the Obedience or Obedient family," he noted. The statement further reads, "Before it gains traction and embarks on a ride of its own, I wish to state clearly that the word reconciliation inserted into some reports of Peter Obi's visit to me yesterday, okay, is most inappropriate and diversionary invocation. Let me clarify. I know the entity known as Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party. I can relate to him. I know and can relate to the Labour Party on whose platform he contested elections. There are simply no issues to reconcile between those two entities and myself. However, I do not know, I'm unable to relate to something known as the Obedient or Obedient family. Thus, I bet in a different vein, any motion of reconciliation or even relations, positive, negative, or indifference, with such a spectral emanation in simply grasping at empty air. During that meeting, attending by two other individuals only, the word reconciliation was never bruited, neither in itself nor in any other form. It simply did not raise or arise. But by contrast, there were expressions of burden of leadership responsibility, apology, pleading formal dissociation from the untenable, all the way to the tragic ascendancy of ethnic cleavage, especially under such ironic, untenable circumstances. Discussions were frank and creative. The notion of reconciliation was non-applicable. It was never raised. The following should be understood but never underestimated. What remains in the cable from that weekend of a orgistic rave on social media was the opening of the dark, putrid, recesses in the national psyche that we like to pretend do not exist. Okay, this man, now wow, this Wole Soyinka, he should not even allow, instead of him to allow sleeping dog to lie, whatever anybody says, you just want to talk, they will still come for you. Ordinarily, you are not, what are you supposed to say? To me, if I don't even know why. Maybe somebody should even explain to me why Obi went there in the first place. I don't understand. Because I don't know the way a man at which a Wole Soyinka spoke, you could feel that he's so bitter. When the God of obedience comes down, for them, Soyinka, you will know them. Okay, oh. And we obedient don't even know him. It's simple. We don't even care to know him. As if knowing him has any positive contribution. Does knowing Soyinka bring money? People overrate themselves in this Nigeria. Obedience and family you cannot insult of the face. The literary icon has said it all. He knows and can relate with Peter Obi, but knows not the junk of urches called obedience. Obedience are everywhere. They don't hold meetings like when journalists say they don't hold meetings. They don't. Nobody talks to that. Oh, this is what we are supposed to do. What we are not supposed to. That is what even Soyinka himself is not even getting. He's not getting it. They are just all Nigerians. They are just ordinary Nigerians that are all over the place doing their different thing. They don't hold meeting. No, this is what we are going to do. Even your principal Obi can testify the kind of person he is. Stop blabbing. He is right. He is right. He does not know obedience. Rather, he knows Mr. Obi. Okay. He did acknowledge the Labour Party and its presidential candidates. And obedience don't even know Soyinka as well. That's why they give him wutu wutu. If you do anyhow for this country, you see anyhow. Obedience are all over, not only all over Nigeria, all over the world. Even those who are not Nigerians, they are obedient. So whether you know them or know them or, it's inconsequential. But if you do anyhow, anybody, you see anyhow. All this a plenty English. A renowned gentleman who all strive to emulate shouldn't derail. I read the man die and so on. I heard of the gun in a studio. His activism in his youthful era should not only be remembered but lived by the Nigerian youth. Soyinka is not intelligent. That is why his books are so technically titled and written. Go back to America. Trump has been dethroned for Biden. That is big man problem. They want to strain the common people in all big man gathering. Have they include poor man in their discussions? Abeg, big man to big man, face your money problems and live with the common people alone. If we no respect Igbos, please give them handshake. Give them handshake. That's it. Ordinarily, he for not even talk anything.